welcome back again. So today we're going to be talking about the third topic in our series on just walking your way through getting into the UK basically. So in the first one, we talked about masters and scholarships and how to go through that whole process. So if you have any questions that are masters related, please kindly check our first video in this series. The second video was about PLAB, the PLAB journey, and just generally what your options are as an international medical graduate. So what can you do after? So if you have any PLAB related questions about what you can do, please check our second video. Now, today we're going to be talking about post-PLAB issues. Got a lot of questions in regards to GMC registration and jobs and the ease of getting jobs and all of that. So again, they have been compiled into 15 questions that we've been answering. So just going to share my screen so we see the questions that we're going to be talking about. So let's see how far we can go with this. Okay, so these are the questions that we were discussing. The 15 questions, as you can see, they're still there. So for this particular segment, I'm going to be answering 6 questions. So that's question 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So these are what I grouped as the post-PLAB questions. So let's start from number 7. We know everyone shouts write PLAB 1 and PLAB 2, but what exactly happens after the exam? Well, you pass or you fail, first and foremost. But yeah, okay, seriously, when you finish writing the exams, then you have done a significant part of the job. But again, your options depend on what stage you're at. So if you've written the PLAB 1 and 2 and passed, and you've already done your internship, it's more straightforward. All you have to do is apply to get your GMC registration, full GMC registration, then you apply for jobs. We'll talk about jobs and how to go about that very soon. But so that's the first part. If you've already done your internship, you apply for your job and you apply for registration, then you apply for your job, and there you go. But if you have not done your internship, then that is a different route. So depending on where you graduated from, if you graduated from an EU university, a recognized EU university, Ukraine was seen as one university in Europe before, but sometime in 2019 or 18, they stopped accepting Ukrainian students to give them full registration. But for other schools, most of the schools that I know, if you graduated from an EU country, so Hungary or Romania, you would just be given full registration. So you just have to provide proof of your final year, which is supposed to be your internship year, send that to the GMC, and you get your full registration. Now, like I said, the status of Ukraine was changed. So it could change at any time for any of these countries. So please make sure that you're calling the GMC yourself. And most importantly, asking people around who probably finished before you to see if things have changed, because the GMC representatives might not always be able to give you the information that's specific to you. So yeah, if you have not done your internship, then you have to do an internship. You could do it in the UK, and that's what we're going to talk about extensively in the next video in this series, the foundation program. Or you could do it in other countries, a ton of places. If you're lucky enough, you could do it in your graduating school. So if you finished in, let's say, Ukraine, you could do it in Ukraine. You could do it in Ukraine or just wherever. You could go back to your home country. You could do it in, there are many places you could do it in, right? So sometimes I get questions as to where. So if I get enough, what's it called now? Traction, interest in that regard, I might make another video. But there's a lot of places you can do your internship in. So if you just finished school and you didn't finish from one of the recognized universities or in the EU, you're likely going to need an internship before you can be given full registration. So short answer, what happens? You apply for your registration. If you've done an internship, you're applying for full registration. If you've not, you're applying for provisional registration. Then you look for jobs. All right, so let's go to number 8. And completion, I think she meant on completion of GMC registration and all, is it easy to get jobs, or that's another hustle? That's not a very direct question to answer because it's relative. Some people get jobs almost immediately. Some people spend months before they get jobs. Now, what I would say is, for you to be able to make yourself, stand a better chance to increase your odds, put your best foot forward through the whole process. You are competing with people you don't know from different parts of the world, as with any other job selection process. So put your best foot forward. Personally, I was told that the job application process was tedious. You have to apply for 200, 300 jobs. I was not that hardworking. So I didn't. I only applied for about 10, 11 jobs, and I got about 5 interviews. I picked one. Funny thing is, I did the interview a day after my PLAB 2 result came out. So I was that faith-filled person that just sort of took the bull by the horns. So it depends on you. One thing though that I would say would determine an increase in your chances would be what you present as on your application. Now, for most jobs, you would go through the NHS profile, which I'm just going to show you in a bit. So let's see what that is. I'm just going to stop sharing and take you back to the other websites. Let's see, where are they? It's supposed to be open. I can't see it for some reason. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so yes, this is the website where most jobs for the NHS are advertised at. NHS jobs. It's as simple as that. The website is jobs.nhs.uk, as you can see here. So you go to this website and you would find normally all the jobs that you need are advertised here. You don't need to go anywhere else. That's if you want to work in the NHS. If you want to work in a private private hospital or in a private setting, there's other companies. There's NES, there is there's a lot of them, right? Now, the good thing about these is if you go to one of the academies, like I talked about in the previous video, the PLAB 2 academies, many times they come and advertise themselves. Another place you could find them is when you finish registering, there's something that a program that you do, Welcome to the UK, I think it's called, another company advertises to you. So many of these private people would reach out to you. On LinkedIn, I had a couple of them reaching out to me. So yeah, those ones would usually reach out to you. So you might not even need to apply. But if you want an NHS job, come to jobs.nhs.uk. Now, when you come here, obviously you're going to need to register. So you just register and then you go where you want to go. So it's as simple as that. You register, then you search for jobs and you browse whatever you want. If you want a particular specialty, type it in. So let's say we want something in geriatrics, right? So geriatric care, and then you search. If you want a specific location, put that in, and then you see. So here you can see all jobs advertised in the NHS, not just for doctors. So this is for a staff nurse. You could come down here and select. So as a new person applying, you're probably applying as an FY2, or maybe if you're higher up, something else. But let's say we're doing a foundation doctor, which is what most people would be doing. And here we see, so you have LAS FY2 jobs. So we're going to talk about these things and what they mean in the next video. But FY2 just simply is the name of the position of the first level of the SHO job here. So yeah, you streamline, you apply, and then you go ahead. Now, one thing that's common to many of these jobs is, first of all, you fill in this NHS profile and it will be sent to whoever you're applying to, right? But in many of them, you're going to need to write a cover letter. Now that cover letter needs to be on point. A few of them may ask you for your CV, but most of them will ask you for a cover letter and then your description. So you have to sell yourself. Put in everything that you've done that is relevant to the job. If you, let's say you're applying for an ENT job and you had done, let's say intubation, not even intubations now, you're done things that had to do with the larynx or, you know, otoscopies and all of that, those things would count. So put them in and amplify them. Another thing you need to do is look at the, you know, the hospital. There's usually an extra folder. You know what? Let's open one of these posts. Let's say we want to apply to this one. LAS FY2 doctor in elderly medicine, diabetes, and endocrinology. Now, if you come here, you would see this thing called job description and person specification, this folder here. So you'd click on that and it would show you what they're looking for. Now your job is to tailor your cover letter, tailor your application to that job description and person specification. So you need to increase your odds, you need to increase your chances, you know, just in the pool of other people, basically. So make sure you're selling yourself high, you're not selling yourself short, basically, and put your best foot forward. Now, another thing you might need is a CV, which most of the time doesn't come into play. But I'm just going to show you guys another website to help you create a very good CV. Now, this is what I used, and I think it was really helpful, especially in the times when I didn't go through the NHS website. Like I said, I got contacted by a few people. So those ones would ask you for your CV. Now, I did send my CV to a couple of people, and whenever they saw it, they always seemed to be impressed for some reason. So this was what I used, lifecarer.co.uk. Now, when you're using this website, it just fills in the job description for you. So all you have to do is adapt it. So personalize it, make it what is required for the job. So it's lifecarer.com. So let's see if we can just try making a sample. So have you ever created a CV? Let's put no. Continue. Are you a student? No, you're not. Yeah. And then they give you different templates. Now, let's say we want to make something that looks more professional. You pick professional. If you want to go through the recommended ones, you want to be colorful, I would probably advise against that, but just pick something that looks good. And then let's go with professional, and we're going with this third one here. So you see your CV would look something like this. Now, when you choose the template, it's going to fill in your details and you adjust as you go. So it's pretty simple to use. Basically, it's pretty straightforward. Another thing to note is you'd usually just pay a little fee. I think it's about £2 or so for a 2-week trial. But then if you want to continue using, I think it's about £14 per month or something cheaper. I'm not too sure. But yeah, this is one thing I would recommend for those who want to, in the job process, just make sure your CV is out there. It's what it should be. Okay, all right, let's quickly now go into question number 3. Let's see, what was our question 3? Oh, where's our notes? Oh, there we go. Is that the notes? Yes, perfect. Okay, so our next question is question 9, and question 9 says, how easy is it to get into residency over there? Are there more exams to write, interviews, and all? So first of all, in the UK, it's not called residency. It's called training. Now, there are different levels of training. If you're starting out as with internship, the first level on the ring, so it's your internship level, and that is called the foundation year 1. So you have 2 foundation years, sometimes 3, but that's the first level of training. Then you go into core training, specialty training, but depending on, you know, the specialty, it would have different levels or different number of years. So first is called training, not residency in the UK. How easy is it to get into residency? Now, bearing in mind that residency is training, the main training, I'm going to temporarily remove FY2. It's still training, but I assume they meant like the main specialization. So going into training is usually not the first step on the ladder. So you would usually come and work at a trust level or something. You might come into training directly. And yes, in that case, you're going to need to write an exam. So it's usually easy when you come here. Everything would just be straightforward. There are groups you could join and people would guide you through. But yeah, getting into the training, like in any country in the world, you need to write exams and you pass the exams, you choose where you want to go to, and it continues. Are there more? Yes, there are more exams to write, and yes, there are interviews, as with any job, anywhere. All right, question number 10. I just want to know how easy or how difficult it is to get a job at the passing lab. So I think I've already answered that one. It depends on you. Put your best foot forward. Make sure that you are filling that, job and person specification that I showed you on the website. Make sure your CV is top notch. Make sure you're amplifying all your efforts. Now, like I said, look for what they're looking for and put it out there. If you've done any research, I noticed that for some reason, some hospitals really, really love when you tell them that you've done research or volunteer work or something. Learn how to adapt that. I'll give you a classic example. Let's say you're applying for a job in geriatrics. I love geriatrics. So they would love to hear that, for example, you have done volunteer work where you were working with elderly people, that you were able to let's say you were able to talk to the patient family and interact with them. You were able to obviously handle difficult situations. You were able to maybe if you had difficult colleagues and stuff like that, difficult patients or family members, you were able to deal with all of that. So now the thing about the UK in general is they're not just looking for you as the best doctor, in a hands-on way. They're judging you in an all-round way. So you need to be safe, like I mentioned in the previous video. You need to also be very ethical. So you need to know that confidentiality is very important. You need to know that you need to respect your nurse colleague. You need to know that if you're talking on the phone, you need to know that the person you're talking to has consent to be able to listen to the information you're given. So all these little, tidbits are things that would all come together and help you. But again, when you go to those courses I mentioned in the last video, you'll be brushed up on all of this. So don't worry about that. What's the next question? Question 11. What's the process specifically in the UK? How to choose a course, etc. How to choose a course. I'm not too sure what that means, how to choose a course. But if you meant master's program, I've already talked about it in the very first video, so please go back and check. If you're talking about specialization training, I think I've explained that again. So just summary, you first of all have to have done your internship and gotten your full registration. Normally, most people would have at least spent 1 year before they start training, but you can come right away. You write the exams, pass the exams, you start your training. If you're doing a course that takes 3 years to specialize, like GP training, you do that and you're a consultant. If you're doing one like, let's say, neurology, you go through the steps and then you get there. It all gets simpler when you're into the system generally. So it's a lot of exams, interviews, and yeah, like anywhere else. All right, question 11, what about boards? Would it be rewarding or a waste of time? Questions like that, I feel like they're quite subjective. So you are the one who will judge if it's a waste of time to you or not. Will it be rewarding? It's been rewarding to a lot of people. So again, it would be your decision to make in the long run if it has been rewarding or not. But what I would say is make the best use of the opportunity that you have. A lot of people come to the UK as, well, I say passing ground, so they don't want to really stay. They just want to practice, take what they've learned and, go somewhere else or go back home. That might be you. It might be that you want to, settle in the UK indefinitely. So yeah, tailor it to you so you get the best experience. So will it be rewarding? It will be what you make out of it. And I would just say that if you're a person who's going to be coming, for the first time, you don't know how to, you've not integrated before in, a mixed community, probably take out time during your PLAB 2 preparation to try and integrate a bit, just so you understand a bit of the culture, because there could be a vast disparity depending on where you've been. I've been opportunity to be in a place where I see, I've worked with a lot of people in different places, and at some point I was helping people with preparations and whatever. And I've just seen how some people respond, and I'm just like, okay, do you know that maybe you need to have said please first, or you need to have told the patient, oh, I'm really sorry for doing that first of all, or you need to have, it's just the nuances of the culture, right? So knowing the culture obviously is going to help your working life to become better. And one of the ways to do that is to try to integrate. You're definitely going to do it on the job, but if you want to ease, yourself in, if it's not something you've been exposed to before, I would advise that during your PLAB 2 preparation process, try as much as you can to integrate. Okay, I think with that, I have answered most of the questions. So that's what we had from the questions we had for post-PLAB 2. So generally, you do your GMC registration. The GMC registration is the last thing I'm going to talk about. The GMC registration is, again, quite relative, because for some people, it would take only about 3 to 5 days. For some people, it would take months. So again, it depends on your individual circumstance. Now, let's quickly show you what the GMC website looks like. When you start your PLAB journey, one of the first things you do is to create your GMC website. So many of you probably already know it if you have done that, but let's still just go back so that we know we did it. Right, so here, where is it? Oh, good. So here we have the GMC website. It's called GMC Online. The website is webcache.gmc-uk.org. There it is. So when you're starting the whole process, you know you need to write your IELTS, write your PLAB 1, write your PLAB 2. You would need to create this account first of all. Now, when you're starting, obviously, if you're new to GMC Online, set up your GMC Online account here. You would need to have met a certain number of criteria. So you need to have, I think you'd need to have passed your exams already. You would need to have graduated rather already. You would need to have your documents and stuff like that. There's other processes, the EPIC verification and all of that. But generally, it will walk you through it. It's quite step by step. So you create the accounts, you're going to get a reference number. Now that reference number is going to turn out to be your GMC number, and that would be your number for the whole of your professional working life. So you do that, and once you've gotten your number, you set your password, you log in, and everything is straightforward. You'll be able to upload your documents, your IELTS scores and all of that, and it just walks you through. So this website now becomes like an interface between you and the GMC. You can still call them, but you can get a lot of information and records for your own keeping here as well. So you would also do your registration through this platform. I don't want to put in my details because personal information and whatnot, but it's pretty straightforward. You go through it and you're able to start your registration process. You need to provide, like I said, your medical certificate, your sometimes they might ask you for some other documents. So again, it's non-specific. It's not the same thing for everybody. So your passport, your working history, sometimes they might ask you for reference letters, things like that. So they would ask you to provide what they want from you. And you go through the process. Hopefully it doesn't take too much time and you're able to go through all of that. Now the GMC registration sometimes could be a pain. So if that is the case, I would advise that you keep records of all your emails. A lot of times you might need to call them, and if you do, try and see if you can also get, you know, an email recording, because sometimes it might come in helpful. The people that are usually on the other side of the line, sometimes they're different individuals, so you're not going to be talking to the same person very likely all the time. So human beings, there might be some differences in opinion sometimes. So just keep a record of all the things that you can, especially the very important ones. Call them, send emails, have your copy. And yeah, it's hopefully going to be straightforward for you. So that is all we're going to talk about in this video. If I have not answered your question or you have more specific questions, again, feel free to write me at amakanj or at momentswithsoph, AMAKANJ, or moments, WITHSOPH on Instagram. But if it's something I've already answered here, I will point you back. So right now we have just one last video, and it's going to be the one that a lot of people have also asked about, the foundation training program. So hopefully we'll record it today or tomorrow, but it would be out sometime soon. So obviously you're going to be made aware. So go and watch the other two videos if you've not watched them, the master's one and the one on your working options and PLAB. If you have any questions, if you know somebody who would need this, do not be stingy. Bless a person. Don't be stingy with your fingers too. Please hit like, share this, subscribe to my channel, and I hope you have a lovely day. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing now. Thank you very much for watching. click the like button, subscribe to my channel, share this video. If you have questions, leave your questions in the comment section or send me a DM on Instagram. Have a lovely day, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.